Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Gardens Grow. I'm uncovering some of my garden decor and some of my little plants that have been covered. You can see this is a succulent, and underneath here is a cactus that I lost last year, except for a tiny little piece of it that has grown back this much, and it's going to be looking good. It is looking good. So all those frosts and refreezes didn't hurt it any, but if they came as late as they came last year and stayed as long and as deep of a freeze as it was, it would be gone again. I hope I've learned my lesson to just go ahead and break a piece of it off and take it in the house should that happen. But from the forecast, as far as I can see, it's not going to go ahead and freeze again, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And what's revealed is basically a beautiful little cactus. I did notice it right here at the base of it. It's kind of discolored, but that feels firm, so I'm going to hope that this will just keep right on going. And if by chance it doesn't, I will go ahead and trim off these top three away from that bottom one and put those in places where they'll have a chance to grow. But right now this is looking like it's going to do well. As well as this other tiny little succulent. I'm not sure what this is called, but it is very beautiful. I really like it, and this little pot is kind of ready to go. Well, I probably will put maybe some coleus or some little something in the back of it to give it some color through the season. I'm not quite ready to take these off. I'm going to wait a little while. Lots of times we have hailstorms in the springtime, so I may leave them on a little bit, or I may just decide to go ahead and take them off at some point, but right now I'm going to leave them a little bit longer. Spring is in the air. Today is April the 4th, and spring is bursting out everywhere. I did get my little strawberry pyramid that I had filled out with petunias last year, and I think I'm sure there are petunia seeds all in there, so hopefully they will come up again and we'll have another little strawberry pot full of petunias. And as I was saying, I did get that cleaned out, and my plan for today is to go ahead and get all this mess cleaned out if I can. We do have some cloudy skies and a forecast of rain. Hopefully we will get that rain. For me, I like to do this when it's not damp, because the dry stuff will just break right off unless it's damp, and then you'll have to clip every little thing. So hopefully I'll be able to break this off, and then maybe we'll still get a wonderful rain. I did also take off a lot of my plastic bags, not all, but a lot. And things are looking better. You can see I didn't take this one off, and I've already told you that I did take this off of my cactus, and the cactus is looking great. Garden cleanup is my least favorite part of gardening. And look what I found right here. I moved some debris, and here's a big old wad of snails. So I'm going to get rid of those. They will kill everything in the garden if you don't. But I'm going to give my back and all the rest of my joints a little break and go around and show you what else I found in the garden that was good things to find in the garden. And doesn't it already look better? Some old dead stalks of last year's black and blue salvia off. And guess what I found? This little bit of green. Doesn't look like much right now, but that's a sign of life. And we'll see how much more life is in there. And if there's not any more than this one, at least there's this one. And it will grow up and be a beauty. And I heard a bird screeching at me. And the only bird I know that screeches is a blue jay. So I was hoping to see it, so I had walked out this way where the sound was coming from, and then the sound went away, so I guess I scared him away. Or he may not be scared of me, but he didn't want to stay around. But as I walked by, look what I found. My hen and chickens are coming back. Even the green ones are coming back, which I know most people say, well, they always do, but mine don't. So this is the first year. I think this is the first year I've got them to come back, and they look healthy and so promising. I was also noticing that our weeping willow, I showed you that it has tiny little leaves on it, but now they're big enough you can see them from far off. Green, that beautiful green, which will be everywhere soon. And I noticed when we came back from breakfast this morning, quite a ways down the road, you could see these little white catkins on the pussy willow tree. Let me see if I can get to a place where you can see some of those. They're so pretty. I don't know if I'm in the lighting well enough for you to see them real well, but I hope you can. And it looks like now would be a good time to get some of this wormwood or artemisia and put it in a different pot. So I'll have 2 pots of this beautiful little plant. I set this little girl up yesterday, but I also noticed that her little rose is missing, although I found it and it's just right here, so I'm gonna end up gluing it back on. I'm not gonna leave it setting up here right now. I'm gonna set it up so you can see, because soon, very soon, we'll have beautiful clematis bloom here too, and I want this to be able to shine when it does, so I can get pictures and get it for you on the YouTube channel. But I'm going to take this off right now just so it won't fall off or blow away and break. So hopefully I'll get that glued back on before too long. Spring cleanup is just a terribly daunting mess of a job to do, and it's just very hard on a person with arthritis and joint problems. But with the helping grace of God, I'm going to keep after it. It also helps me to use them, so it's just very tiring. But hopefully I will get this done. I have every other year, so we're going to hope for another year, even though each year sometimes it gets a little harder on us. I was thinking, we're fighting that appointment with death, and we know it's gonna win, but when we can feel like it at all, we just want to give it a good run for its money. But when everything in the garden needs to be redone and cleaned out and glued back together and set back up, it does get to be a terribly daunting task. But too, every little thing we get done, we can look back on it and realize that it's looking so much better. It makes you feel good to get a task accomplished. There, that looks so much better. Now, if I didn't just have so many tasks ahead of me to get fixed right. So I was happy with our garden accomplishments yesterday. My husband and I got out and got our pampas grass down, both stalks of it or bunches of it, and they're ready to start over again. I didn't see any little green poking up, but once we got those dead tops off, I feel like it won't be long. And I cleaned out this area. I had already gotten just this little front part of it, and so I got busy in the rest of it all the way up to the little storage building, and we've got that cleaned out now. I did not rake up all the leaves. I'll probably do that later though, and hopefully, I mean, I know it looks better already. Just getting the old tall dead stuff out of it helped tremendously on the looks of it. So my next plan was to get at least the tall dead stuff away from the very middle of the garden. But then I started over here on this side right behind our house, and I thought there wasn't going to be all that much of the tall stuff to get, but actually I filled this bag full, and it took me quite a while to do, probably at least 2 hours. So things just take longer than you would think. Naturally, when it comes to time and money, it always takes more. But and this little plant, I didn't go ahead and pull up the dead stuff around it. I clipped some of it, and then I thought, why am I doing this? If I just leave it a little bit longer, it'll be brittle enough that I can just break it off. So that's what I'm going to do in that instance, because I am trying to make things a little bit easier for me, which is another reason I didn't just clear everything up as I went. I'm hoping that I'll be able to come back through here with a rake and get the biggest portion of. I know I'll still have to break loose some of it, maybe more than I'm thinking, because I kind of thought I could just rake up the dead stuff off of the daylilies, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. But I'll give it a try. If that doesn't work, I'll get down there with my hands and pull it out again. But I'm going to save that for another day. I did take down my Russian sage, and it's already beginning to green up, and it'll come back up through there and hopefully be as pretty as it was last year, maybe even prettier. They seem to get better each year when they fill out more, and just if they do well, they seem to get better each year. But I do hope to get some of this old dead stuff out of here even today, hopefully. Some of it, even just getting some of it, the taller stuff would certainly make the looks of it a lot more appealing. And I want to thank you for coming along on all this old dead debris and dirty garden work. And I'm going to try to fix up one of my pots just so you'll have something pretty to look at. Well, I'm not sure which one yet. I'm going to kind of look around and just see which one I want to do first. But I'm going to get one started so that we'll just have a spot of new beauty in the garden. Something you can enjoy besides just all this dead stuff, even though there's beauty out here too. But we want just a big old pot full of beautiful new plants. That's what I want to be able to show you. And here's a little flower that needs to come up, because of course this is a dandelion, and they are so invasive. You don't want them in your garden for sure, or in your lawn even. And I'm not sure what this little weed is, but I seem to have more than my share of them in the garden that I always have to get out also. And I was so hoping that this would come back, but it looks like it's all dead. And yet when I look out there, look a little closer right at the root, and it is coming back. So that's great. I need to get this old dead stuff off of here and water this and let it begin to shine, because it's a beautiful spring flower. It's the perennial alyssum, bright yellow and just beautiful. I'm thrilled to see my little Japanese maple is coming back again. This is its second year for me, So maybe one day this will be a great beauty. I'm not sure, but I think this may be the little pot that I'm going to start with. This is the one that I would like to put some Calabachoa in, because it has a fuller, deeper little container for it to go in, and I think that maybe will help it. And I have some starts in the window from some of my coleus, and then of course I'll go down to the nursery and pick out some plants to go in here. And I think I might go ahead and get this one started. That would be a great start for our spring annual gardens. So what to plant is always a question in the spring when you get started. And mostly what I do and what I would suggest is just go to the nurseries and look and see what you like. Plant what you like. And then if that doesn't work, you'll probably realize why. If you don't, you can do some digging and see if you can find it out, or try it in a different place. But usually it's like, I think why my Calabachoa didn't work in other pots was because it wasn't in a deep enough pot for it. They do well until the hot summertime gets here, and then they just begin to perish. But anyway, I'm going to try that again in this one and see. Also, this one has a little shade from the weeping willow tree, and it's a dappled shade, so it also gets sun. So I'm thinking that a Calabachoa might possibly work here. But you will see, like if you plant something you really like and then you see, oh, that needed more sun, or that needed more shade, it's burning up in the sun. So you'll figure that out, and then you can make your changes, and you'll still have the things that you like, and you'll know where to put them. It's like anything else gardening is. You just have to try different things until you find out what works for you, or what works in the area that you are planting in. I also did get a few things glued back together, like this little rose on this little garden art piece. And so she's ready for all those beautiful little buds to open up into even more beautiful blooms. And I also ordered me some sedums, because like I told you earlier, that I do want some of my little pots that don't hold a lot of other things very well because they're shallow and right out in the sun. I'm thinking that sedums would do well in these. You can tell this one is coming back, and it's several years now in this tiny little pot, and all I really had to do is just take a little bit of it out so it had more room to grow. And this is a thundercloud sedum. It's a small sedum, like a miniature sedum, and it's very pretty, and you can just put it in practically anything and it'll go ahead and live. It doesn't need a whole lot of water, and it can stand being right in the bright sun. It likes the bright sun, actually. And this is definitely another job that I need to take care of, and I just don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I can't think like that. I've got to just do as much as I can and try to enjoy the process of getting it nice. I always wish that it would just all be cleared out and pretty to begin with, so I can just start planting. But that's not the case. But hopefully I'll get this down before too long. Right now I'm planning on trying to take out some that are just the biggest eyesores, and then go to the stuff that's lower to the ground and not so easily seen. I just dumped my rain gauge because it had a little dribble in there, not much more than that. But when I was doing it, I saw these pretty moths, and I don't know if I'm getting them in there for you, but I hope you can see those. Always enjoy the moths and the butterflies and all the pretty insects in the garden. And this is why I pick sedums, because they come back every year, even in these little bitty pots, and they seem to do really well. They go ahead, and sometimes I just put a small piece in there and they just begin to proliferate until they have the whole little container filled out. They don't always do as well as this one. This little one right here is not doing very well right now, but it may still come back too. If you look, you can see there's definitely some signs of life in there. So it could fill out from those little pieces. It does definitely need some water on this one. And I don't have these cleaned out yet, but you can see they're coming back. Even in need of water, they're still coming back, as are these little ones. All I need to do is clean it out, take this old dead stuff off of it and give it a little drink and let it shine. And these little pots are under the eave of the house, so they don't hardly get any rain at all, and they're needing water, which I haven't got my watering started yet, but I need to do that soon, because you can tell they're trying to come back. They just need a little drink to come back and shine for this next season. And I have succulents in all of these pots. And the sedums that I purchased were Fulda-Glow, Atlantis, I think one was called Plum Dazzling, and I can't remember the name of the other two, but I ordered 5 different ones, and I'm not sure, I think I'm going to put them in the pots, but I may put them in the ground to begin with, just in case they don't do well in the pots, and then when they get a little bigger I'll put them in the pots. But actually I'll probably just try to go ahead and do them in the pots, because that's where I want them. And they usually do well there. They may actually need that little plastic to shield them from some of winter's harsh weather, because this is a pretty little sedum. I really like this one, and I'm not sure what it's called. Oh, but that does remind me that one of the other ones was called Lime Zinger. It seems to look a lot like this, only be a little more green than bluish, and have a little pink edging on it, so it looks to be like it's going to be really pretty. I hope it will be. But I think if you give, now this little pot had ice plant in it, and it may be that had is the operative word here, I'm not sure, but it doesn't look like there's any life to it, but I'm not giving up on it yet. We're just going to wait and see what some rain and sunshine will do, and if it doesn't help it out, I'll know I shouldn't have put it in a pot. But it did well through the summer and even fall, so we'll see what will happen with it. I'm having a hard time getting them to come back in the ground, so I thought maybe I would have a better chance in a pot for it to come back. I hope it does. It's a beautiful little ice plant. But isn't spring wonderful? Even if it is full of old dead debris, it's also full of new life and beautiful spring color. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.